The last time Andrew Yang joined us on Squawk Box, he suggested it's time to stop taxing labor and start taxing AI instead.
You tend to tax things that you want to discourage and you want less of. And we're going to be in a position where we want to shore up labor in every quarter, in every organization and environment. We should actually try to stop taxing labor because
tax the agents instead?
Yes, exactly, Becky.
Joining us now, Andrew Yang, CEO of Noble Mobile and founder of the Forward Party. It's good to see you. Every day we go back and forth about the two assumptions for AI that we've heard about every other technological revolution. From, no more farmers, okay, now they're doing this. No more buggy whip makers, oh, but look at the automotive industry. We always hear that the disruption is going to pay off. No one necessarily thinks that it could be different. It could be staring us right in the face. But if everything AI does basically is designed to do without humans, how can it possibly not be the most disruptive thing to the labor market ever? Is that what you think will happen at this point?
I do, Joe. And if you look at the numbers, you're going to spend, let's call it even $1 trillion on infrastructure and data centers and the like. You have to get hundreds of billions of dollars in cost savings from corporates. And where is that going to come from? Headcount.
It's got to.
It's obvious. And the powers that be have said, look, we got to stop talking about kicking workers to the curb because people are starting to hate us. People are protesting data centers. Someone threw a Molotov cocktail and took a shot at Sam Altman's house. So then the message has gone out, look, this is going to be fine for workers, but we know different. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to say, too, I run a company, Noble Mobile. The easiest people to fire are the people you haven't hired yet. So are we replacing junior analysts, junior engineers with AI? 100%. And if we are doing that, then I guarantee organizations around the country are doing the exact same thing.
So you just, and I was going to say, but if you tax something, you're going to get less of it. Most people think that. You're saying that's not necessarily a bad thing to get less AI, because the promise of it is in drug development and in, there are cases that can be made that this genie's not going back in the bottle, and it's going to be great in a lot of ways. So we want to go forward so should we sacrifice labor to do that?
Look, this is not just me talking. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said, tax us, please. He proposed a 3% token tax. Now, you can argue about what the appropriate level is, but I think that drug is going to get discovered if you
So what do we do with the rest? That's the other thing. I wanted to ask you, historically, when we have tried to ease the disruption to the old workforce when there's a new technology, when we've tried to design reskilling or job programs, has it ever really worked effectively?
That has been a total bust, Joe.
In the past.
I looked at the success rates of U.S. Government-funded retraining programs for the manufacturing workers in the Midwest, and the general effectiveness rate was 0%. And I know, Becky, it's painful, but if you look at it, what happened was someone would start a certification program in the Midwest, give those certificates to workers, and then shut down. And the government would pay that school, the school disappears, and then workers are left with valueless certificates. A lot of those people left the workforce, went on disability, et cetera, et cetera. So, saying we're going to retrain workers sounds great as a soundbite, but it doesn't actually work.
Then what are you going to do with the revenue you raise from the taxes? What good is it to tax it then if you can't do anything to help the people that are getting displaced?
What we need to do is create incentives for people like me to hire more human beings. So check it out. If I hire a young person, I'm going to pay 7 to 10% in FICA and state unemployment and a bunch of taxes. I'm going to pay another 8 to 11% for their health care. And then that worker is going to be spending 15 to 25% on income taxes. You're talking about almost half of the total money that's getting allocated to that worker. That's not going to the worker. So if you start to lighten those costs and taxes, then people like me hire more people. And this would be the most effective way to get the private market bringing more people into companies and opportunities.
So how do you deal with things like healthcare, which are already unaffordable based on just where we've seen trends to take us?
Yeah, so healthcare is a massive burden on companies that are, essentially killed before they get started, because there are a lot of talented workers out there that might start a company if they didn't have to provide healthcare to their families through their employers. It's tax on employers from actually hiring people. So you have to get healthcare off of companies, and then you have to try and lower the tax burden.
Universal healthcare?
Sure. I mean, as long as private companies are paying for it, it's terrible for business formation, for job portability, which is a good thing, and for actually hiring.
But it's just that doesn't get at the increasing cost we've seen with healthcare all along.
Well, I'd suggest it would, because what happens is a lot of the device manufacturers and the health insurance companies are public companies. They have to show growth. So how are they going to show growth? They're generally going to jack up their prices. And so what happens is companies around the country, like mine, end up paying more and more to health insurance over time, while outcomes aren't really going up in the same direction.
So the answer is not giving devices to people, not giving the latest medical advances, like any of these GLP-1s or anything along those way?
Hey, if they're delivering better outcomes, then we get that money back many times over. The issue right now is we're actually increasing the expenditures, and it's unrelated to outcomes. It's just about companies.
Well, sometimes it's going to be a long-term issue, though. Like so
we were having this fascinating conversation. You were so right, by the way, because I saw there was a whole back and forth on Twitter about it later. Yesterday, Becky raised the issue about how GLP-1s specifically are costing municipalities extraordinary amounts of money.
In the short term.
In the short term, and they're not seeing a quote-unquote return in the short term, because the truth is somebody who's
savings.
40 or 50 years old who loses 100 pounds in that moment, there's no immediate ROI on that. Yeah. The ROI is when they're 80 or 90 that they're not in the hospital, or 60 or whatever you see. And so the question is how that maths.
But the downside is suddenly everyone's going to live to 90, and that's going to end up being prohibitively more expensive. Right. So in a perverse way.
Well, this goes back. Bill Gates many years ago.
Alzheimer's.
I wasn't going with Alzheimer's, but he said everybody should just smoke. If you wanted to run the country, you would just have everybody smoking cigarettes.
Because his point was that Alzheimer's, on that very same conversation, his point was that you can live with Alzheimer's for a very long time, and it's a very expensive proposition to take care of somebody on Alzheimer's. That these diseases kill you off, and then you're no longer a burden on the public payrolls, which is a terrible way of looking at humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I have elderly parents. Obviously, we want them to live long and fruitful lives, but I want to paint a picture for you guys that I think you all get. That there are dark factories in China right now where they didn't bother having light switches because they're all robotic. So you have this robotics wave that's coming this direction and the AI wave. These two technologies are going to do tons of work in our economy, and a lot of those companies are not going to pay meaningful taxes. So what you're going to have is this diminishing pool of human workers who are paying the tax revenue, looking up, saying, where the heck is the tax going?
Robots? I mean, what's the answer?
Yes, tax the AI, tax the robots, stop taxing human workers, try and make it so that folks like me, employers, actually can hire people, and more of that money gets to the person I'm trying to employ as opposed to the pipes, the taxes, the healthcare, et cetera, et cetera.
But taxing still exists. It just goes after those who are making the most efficiencies with AI and robots.
AI is going to do so much work. Robots are going to do so much work. And right now, those companies are not going to pay meaningful taxes. So what you're going to see is the worst of all worlds, where people are paying and then scrambling to try and keep jobs. Young people are not going to be finding jobs because those jobs are going to be replaced by AI, and the AI and robotics companies are not going to be paying taxes. And then we're going to be fighting with each other saying, where did the money go? When it's obvious the money is going into the cloud, toward the AI companies, and in a few years toward the robotics companies.
You agree with Elizabeth Warren about the idea of a wealth tax?
I think a wealth tax is a bad idea because capital is portable, human beings are portable. Wealth taxes on a state level are super dumb. But an AI tax, again, this is not just Andrew Yang, this is Dario Amodei, this is Vinod Khosla, this is John Arnold. Even Elon's like, hey, we're going to head toward universal high income because of the abundance created by both AI and robotics. So the question is, how do we start moving in that direction as quickly as possible before the pitchforks come out, before our young people come home and just waste away in the basements, et cetera, et cetera.
We're going to pay people to dig holes and fill them back up again, just some type of work, or we want productive labor, or else capital is being wasted,
I would
right?
suggest you transition it to healthcare and to teaching and to.
But you said it's never worked to reskill people.
Well, those are places where we don't pay those people enough. They're very hard jobs. If you're somebody who is an aide, either a healthcare aide or an aide in special needs or something along those, we don't pay those people enough money, and they're very hard jobs, and I don't see a robot doing those jobs.
How about taxing it and using it to offset the deficit spending?
Hey, if we get tax from the robots and AI, it should go to reduce the deficit. It should go towards creating this wellspring of entrepreneurship. That is going to happen here in the U.S. The problem is that a lot of these folks are involuntary entrepreneurs. They get laid off as a middle manager, and then they say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a business. So you're going to see record levels of business formation. The issue is whether those new businesses actually make money and can hire people. And so those are the conditions you have to try and create as quickly as you can.
That's why I always wonder about business formation, how much of it is a great thing and how much of it is out of necessity because people can't find jobs other places.
Becky, the key measurement is how many of those businesses hire another person. Yeah. And right now, if you look at the first number, it looks great because a lot of new businesses are forming. But if you look at the second number, it's not so good. because
unless you believe the Sam Altman view that you can become a billion-dollar company with one person.
That has happened at least a few times already, but that's not going to happen for the vast majority of people we're talking about. There'll be outliers. There are always outliers.